If you're dealing with debt, you know how frustrating it can be, and so do we. We're Family Credit Management, and over the past 20 years, our experts have helped thousands of families conquer their debt. What we do is work with you and your creditors to find a customized solution to your finances. Isn't it time you took control of your financial future? As one of the nation's largest nonprofit credit counseling agencies, we're trusted experts who can really help. But you must take the first step.
Hey, we're back another week. My name is Latisha Griffin, a certified credit counselor, just here to talk to you today about any types of problems or issues that you may have regarding debt, anything regarding if you're looking for help with your credit or just looking to establish credit. Now's the time for you to call in. Now, you can call in and ask a question at 312-738-1060, and we're here for the next 25 to 30 minutes or so. Now, if you do not get the chance to call in, but you do have a question, you can always feel free to reach out to a counselor at Family Credit at 800-994-3328. The great thing about that is that you can get the help that you need, the advice that you need from trusted, reliable sources. You can also visit Family Credit's website at familycredit.org. Now, with Family Credit's website, I will tell you, you can chat online with a counselor and get all the answers that you need as well. So if you've got a problem or a question that you can't think about right now, again, let me give you that website, familycredit.org, and you can actually get the advice that you need. So a lot of people, they don't even go for help because they don't know where to go. So I do want you to use that as a trusted resource. Over the past few weeks, we've talked about a lot of different issues. You've called in with great questions regarding finances, regarding debt, dealing with collection agencies, all types of issues. So just use that as a resource. And if you've got some other questions, feel free to call in and ask. So today we're going to just touch on a little bit of credit and dealing with your debt, but also we want to think about, hey, guess what's happening right now? The school year's wrapping up, and more kids are out of school. So you're looking for different things to do and different ways to teach them about money, to make sure they understand finances, still make it fun. And so if you know of some of those activities that are going on, you can also feel free to call in about that. And just keep in mind that if you're looking for great ways to take care of your kids over the summer, there are tools out there. There are different programs that are going on. You can check out the Park District. They've got some really great programs, and you can qualify for assistance. So if you're looking for something for your kids to do, that's something there. Also, there are different camps that also offer assistance as well throughout the city. So keep those in mind. But the best thing we want you to do is be able to equip your children and to start the conversation and have them talking about ways that they can save money. The best thing that you can do is help your kids understand that money does not grow on trees. And so we've got some tools available at Family Credit that will help teach that as well. And you want to be able to talk to them about their resources and about money. One of the things that I did years ago, just even sat down with my children to start teaching them about budgeting and all of the bills that have to be paid over the course of the month. Those are things that they don't really understand. So when you kind of introduce those to them, because right now you'll see that they may just be asking for money, or they're asking for they want toys, they want food, McDonald's, whatever they can get right now, and they don't really understand that everything costs money. So we're going to talk more next week about the value of money and helping kids with that. Now again, if you've got some questions, 800-994-3328, you can reach out to a certified counselor. Also, we wanted to touch some more. We talked a little bit last week about dealing with your debt and dealing with collection agencies. So we want to make sure that you are looking at your report, and you can do that throughout the year at annualcreditreport.com. Best place for you to go to get your credit report. Now, think about that. When you're looking at the report, they give you one report from each one of the bureaus. So there are 3 different bureaus, and you can get one report. So you want to make sure that you stagger that out and actually start to go over your report and look at those different items on the report. And we'll break those down for you in a second too. Now, we were talking about the different bureaus, and again, the 3 bureaus are Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. First rule of thumb, always look at the TransUnion report. And I point that one out because TransUnion is the bureau that's most used here in the Midwest. So 9 times out of 10, that if you're going to apply for some credit, they are usually pulling your TransUnion bureau. Especially if you're looking for a car, if you're looking for a credit card, whatever you're looking for, a lot of times they'll go to TransUnion first. And so you want to make sure that that report has everything in order and intact. Best place to go. Then after you've looked at that report, you can look at pulling your Experian and your Equifax later. Now, once you get this report, first thing I want you to do is write down everything that's on it. You want to take an inventory of those items that are on your report. You want to look at the date that it was entered, the date of last activity. You also want to pay attention to the balance, and you want to look at what your credit limit is too. Also, sometimes you have collection agencies that are reporting, medical bills that are reporting, and sometimes even utilities that are reporting, and you don't really understand or know what those accounts are there for. So you want to make sure that you write down as much information as you can. And if you're dealing with we're going to talk about dealing with your credit cards and also dealing with collection agencies. So let's touch on dealing with those credit cards first. So you've got your inventory. You've written everything down that you possibly could have for debt for your credit cards. And I want you to pay attention to the bank that you're looking at. You want to look at the date of your most recent activity, your credit limit, your balance, and your minimum payment. And you want to make an inventory of all of this, especially if you're looking to get out of debt. Pay attention to your credit limits. And with your credit limit, you want to make sure that you stay under 30% of that available credit. And I know it might seem hard, especially depending on what your credit limit is, but that's the way that you keep your score looking great. You want to make sure that you stay under that credit limit and you're not using all of your available credit. When you think about the available credit, it's there and it's available because they want you to use it. But when you start using it, a lot of times you look desperate to your creditors. And when you're looking desperate to your creditors, that's when either they'll start to reduce your credit, they will sometimes even close out your accounts, or they just may not extend credit for you anymore. And you don't want that to happen. So you want to make sure you're staying on top of things, looking at your credit limits, your debt to income ratios, and you're trying to stay under that 30%. Did you know, though, that they say that people with the highest credit scores, they only use 7% of their available credit? And when you think about that, 7% of your available credit, that's not even using a lot. So that's saying, like, if you've got a $100 credit limit, you only use $7. So you want to make sure that you want to stay under that credit limit, and that's barely even using it. But you're using it responsibly and you're using it enough to keep that credit open and to keep it rolling and keeping your score in positive standings. So that's what's really going to help. That's what's going to pay off, especially if you are looking for financing in the future or you're just trying to maintain and make things better. Had some people that I spoke with that said, well, I pay off my accounts each and every single month. And that is, responsible use of your money. You're paying off that debt. You're not holding on to that debt. So that is good. But you also want to make sure that you're using that debt too, because a lot of times if you don't, let's say you're paying it off every single month, if you're paying it, you use the card and you pay it right then and there, by the time the creditor reports to the credit bureau, it's reporting that you have a zero balance, which you may think, yes, that is good. You're not carrying debt. But at the same time, it's a two-edged sword, because at that same time, even though you don't have that debt, it's kind of showing that you're not using credit at all. So your score may sit stagnant. So what you want to do is every now and then just use credit responsibly, maybe buy a small item. And you want to be able to make your minimum payment on it for a couple of months. After a couple of months you've made that payment, then you can go ahead and pay the remaining balance off. Still, stay under that 30% while you're making that purchase. You don't want to go crazy. Just something small, because you just want to show that that account is still open and is still active. So when you're thinking about using credit responsibly, that's just a little tip that you can use to make sure that you're keeping your credit in good standing and keeping it positive and making sure that you are using it responsibly. So looks like we've got a call. Hi, caller. Welcome to the show.
Hi, yes. How much of my income should I be putting aside for savings?
Okay. Now, when you're thinking about savings, it starts with any number. Great rule of thumb is if you can put 10% of whatever your income is into savings, do so. Your goal, though, is to get at least 6 months worth of your savings into a savings account. And that way you can have that for emergency savings and anything that may pop up. But you've got this nice nest egg built if you can have 6 months worth of your salary somewhere in savings. For a lot of people, that's not even possible. And I totally understand that. I totally get that. But what you want to do is start with something. If you get paid and you can put $10 away this month and maybe even next month, and then you're able to increase it, let's say maybe $20 every time you get paid. Instead of doing $10 a month, now you're up to maybe even $40 that you're saving. And if you start making those small positive changes now, then in a few more months, you'll have a nice amount saved. It'll be more than you have right now. And that's the important thing. Begin to start with something. Then also be smart about your savings too. Let's say you're due for a raise at work. And if you know that what you're making now, you're living comfortably on it, and it's not a huge, you've got a positive cash flow, you're not negative in your month, but you're making it, then what I do suggest is whatever raise you get, you take that and you direct that towards your savings as well. Then you can look at, once you've got something in there, look at different vehicles that you can use to improve those savings. You can look at your bank and see about if your banks offer any CDs that may be enticing to you. You can also look at mutual funds or different savings vehicle accounts that will help you save more each and every single month. Now, there is a trick that some people use with savings though. Let's say they know they want to save, and a lot of times when we have a bank account, we go to a bank that's near us or that's accessible. That's one of the things we like about it. Probably why we pick their bank. We probably see it everywhere, so we want to go to that bank. Or we know it's down the street or something like that. But for savings, maybe try a different bank or a different account where you actually don't necessarily have easy access to. And that way it'll cause you not only to save more, but when you think about whether or not you need to go out and get that money, it makes that decision a little bit harder. Now, sometimes you can use, or what I recommend, use the online bank for savings. And that way, if you needed money, you probably have maybe like a 3 or 4 day turnaround time before you could even get it. So think about that. If you've got some questions at all, feel free to call in and ask some more questions. We are here for the next few minutes. It looks like we've got another call. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hello, I received a balance transfer option which I want to use to pay off another credit card. Do you usually recommend this?
Now, that really is something that you want to think about. That's totally up to you, but it is a great option that's out there if you can do it responsibly. That's the trick. That's the key. If you can do it responsibly, go right ahead, especially if the interest rate is lower. And let's say with a new creditor, you want to make sure though that you know what you're getting yourselves into. Sometimes they may offer you this great credit offer. They may give you a lower interest rate, but maybe the annual fee is higher than what you currently have. So you want to look at those different things. What's the annual fee on the new account? What's the cost of a late fee? What's the cost of an over limit fee? Not saying that you're going to get there, but you want to be prepared. So if you're able to do that, and if your credit card that you have now is currently higher, then you may want to consider it. But there's another little trick or tool that you can use too. So let's say you've got this credit card offer, and maybe it came from from another credit card company, but maybe your current credit card is higher. Let's say maybe you got a 15% interest rate on your credit card account. You got an offer in the mail for a 0% offer for balance transfers. Great offer, right? Who wouldn't want to pay 0% on money? What you can do is reach out to your credit card company and let them know about your offer. Say, hey, I got this in the mail. I really love being a card holder, but they're giving me 0%. And then you want to see what your credit card company is willing to do for you. When you do transfer the balance, or if you do transfer that balance, make sure that with your old credit card, you leave that account open, but you pay that balance in full and don't use the card again. Remember that old credit card that you just paid off? If you start using it again, you've got interest there. Your new credit card offer probably a lower interest rate or a zero interest rate. So balance the two. Make sure you do your balance transfers responsibly. And if you need help or you've got problems, feel free to reach out to a counselor. 800-994-3328. So we're here for a few more minutes. It looks like we've got another caller. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hi, my current mortgage is at a very high payment and interest rate. How would I start the process of refinancing?
Okay. Now, right now, interest rates are really high. So you do want to see, before you even refi, you want to make sure that you know what you're getting yourselves into. Contact a bank, financial institution, and just even shop around and see what the rates are before you even go with whatever bank you're trying to go with. You can even let your current bank know what your intentions are, that you do want to refi. They may have some really great programs and options out there that you're not even aware of. So reach out to them and see what they have to offer. You want to make sure that your score is high enough as well too. When you're looking to get a mortgage or to refinance, the lender's looking at your credit, they're looking at your income, and they're looking at what you put out now. So you want to make sure that you've got your credit in order. If you have a score that's maybe about 700, that'd be in your best interest. Anything lower, it is possible, but a lot of times you won't be able to get that great rate that you're looking at, and there may be other fees involved too, or fees or points involved. So you want to look at that seriously. Make sure you know what your score is, and if your score is not that far from 700, maybe there's some things that you can do. You can contact a counselor and they can help you with that, help you work through your credit score and look at those things, those options that you have available. Next thing, you want to make sure that your taxes are in order. Have you filed for this year? There's a lot of people that have not. And if you have not, do you have an extension? That information is important, because if you haven't filed your taxes, then there's no way that you're going to be able to get a mortgage or to refi without that information handy. And also look at, do you have steady employment as well? If you're self-employed, that's fine too. You just want to be able to prove that and show that income as needed. So after you have those pieces in order, and if you're looking at refinancing, another component of that is you need to be current on your mortgage right now. So if your current mortgage is current, if you're up to date on your current mortgage, then that's in your favor. So you want to look at that, look at what your interest rate is now, make sure you can afford the payment, and also see about insurance. Make sure that you look at those options as well, because you might not need everything that you have on there too. So those are some ways that you can even look at reducing your mortgage payment now. Keep those in mind. And like I said, if you got some questions about your credit, about dealing with that, making things better for you, you can always reach out to a counselor, 800-994-3328. Now, we're talking about dealing with credit again. So we were just looking at the different bureaus, making sure that you space out the way that you look at your reports and that you're looking at them throughout the year. You want to make sure that you're making your minimum payments and that you're paying attention to your credit limits and you're not maxing out. A lot of people max out, and it does happen. You can contact your creditor if you feel like you're getting into trouble. And let's say you feel like you're getting close to that credit limit, you may even want to see if there's some options or when you will be able to increase that credit limit too. A lot of lenders, a lot of creditors, they have policies on that, and all you need to do is make sure you're making your payments on time, you're meeting your minimum payments, and that you're keeping things in order on your account. So use your credit responsibly, and good things will happen to you for your credit, especially if you are being responsible and making sure you're making your payments on time and keeping things in order. Another thing that you want to think about when you're dealing with your credit is making sure that if you get a notice for a collection account, you're paying attention to it right away. A lot of people, they get those collection notices and they do not know what to do with them. And next thing you know, those collections are popping up on your credit report. That's not a good thing, because a lot of times with the collection accounts, we have received notice. We've got something in the mail. We may have gotten a phone call, which we'll talk about that another time too. But you have to be diligent when dealing with those things to keep them off of your credit report and make sure that your score is staying strong. So we'll go into that in a second. Looks like we've got another caller. Hi, welcome to the show.
Oh, hello. I'm calling because I filed bankruptcy. It was maybe about a year ago, and now I'm trying to build my credit again so I can eventually buy a house. And I wanted to know, how would I go about doing that?
Okay, so just doing what you're doing now, making sure you're getting yourself back on track after bankruptcy, that's a really huge step. So if you're looking to buy a home in the future, you're looking to get credit in the future, maybe an automobile, you have to make sure that you're being diligent. Even after you file, think about your future. What are your goals? And put steps into place. So if you file bankruptcy, your credit's pretty much ruined or trashed. But it doesn't stay that way. Bankruptcy happens now. But if you're setting your goals, setting yourself up to succeed, your score will improve. There's been cases where your scores drop dramatically. I've seen some people, their scores get into like the low 400s after bankruptcy. But if you're making the right moves, it'll get better. Now, what you want to do is pay attention, and you've got to establish credit. After bankruptcy, you do need to establish credit. So pay attention to your credit. Make sure that there's nothing else there. Make sure everything was included in the bankruptcy and you've got all of that listed on your credit report. Now you want to get some positives there to counteract those negatives that you've seen from the bankruptcy. The ways that you can do that, you can look at getting a secured account, or you can even look at getting a regular credit card that was tailored to people that are coming out of bankruptcy. Now with a secured account, you are going to be putting up the money for collateral for whatever credit limit you want. Now, not all banks do it after you file bankruptcy, but there are a lot of banks that will give you a secured account, or they may even have secured or credit rebuilding products that you can look at as well. So ask your bank or your credit union about that. Then you can also get a credit card, and that is made for people that have credit challenges or have filed bankruptcy. Think about that though. When you're looking at getting a credit card and you've just come out of bankruptcy, most likely it's going to be at a higher interest rate, and they may have some fees involved too. So when you're looking at that credit card, you may have to start with a credit card that's like at 28% interest or something crazy like that. But just think about it. You're not going to keep it forever. You're working on making your score better, and you're going to be improving things. Within the next year or so, within the next few months even, you can have a score much better than what you have now. So get that card, make your payments on it, and just avoid fees. You don't want it past due at all. You want to make sure you're making all of your payments and you're keeping that account current. Stay under the credit limit, just like we've been discussing all show long. Stay under that credit limit because that's important. Then as you begin to keep that account, a few months from now, you'll probably start to get other offers too. And that way you'll be able to switch to a better card, because as you're working on improving things, creditors know. They keep an eye on your report. They see what you're doing and they see that you're okay. Yeah, you filed bankruptcy, you don't have debt, but now you've got some positives going on your account too. So they want to get in there too. They're going to be sending you out offers for 0%, for low interest, all of those things. As long as you follow those key steps of making sure that you're staying on your credit, paying attention to it, making sure that no collection agencies are popping up, and those that do, you take care of it right away. Don't let them sit. Be diligent, and then you'll be able to rebuild your credit, rebuild your score, and keep things in order for yourselves. So even after bankruptcy, it's possible. 6 months from now, you can have a way better score. You can probably be higher than you were when you filed bankruptcy. Just make sure you're doing your part. And it will take some time to adjust. If you've got any questions, you can always contact a counselor at 800-994-3328. And they're there to help you with that. Even if you're thinking about, hey, maybe is bankruptcy something that I should be looking at? Are there options out there for me? How do I deal with my debt? That is exactly what they're there for. So we'll see you back next week, and we'll finish up on these key tips and then even touch on some other ideas. See you then. Take care.